Hey you guys, it's Christina, and today I want to share with you a little piece of my past and a story that is very personal to me, and it's how I became a vegetarian. And this story has so much depth to it and so much meaning because it carries a part of my past with me. When I was 15 to 16 years old, I lived in the Dominican Republic. And I went there because I wanted to do community service. I wanted to live in a different country, speak my native language, speak Spanish, and I wanted to live with a community of people that I'd never met, and I wanted just to experience life and learn about culture and to help rebuild this village that had been completely washed away. This experience was life-changing for me, not just because I got to go and live in a different country at such a young age and help rebuild this community and create family and learn about this culture, but also because it opened my eyes to the way that animals are treated and raised and farmed when you have to do it yourself. And it was because of this experience that it actually led me to become vegetarian for the first time in my life. And there is a story behind it, and so I want to get started, and I hope that you all appreciate this. I'm going to be sharing with you a ton of pictures from my past and this beautiful part of my life. I hope you like it. Here's how I became vegetarian. I went to the Dominican Republic in 2002, and I went to go live in a town called Bauruco. And at the time, this small town of just a couple hundred people had no electricity, no running water. Everything had been completely washed away by one of the hurricanes that had passed through there. This town was right on the border of Haiti, and so there was a lot of disease and sickness, and there were many children and families who really needed help and assistance. I went to Bauruco with an organization called Patni, and this organization pulled together a group of students from all across the United States, just a few of us, maybe about 20 of us, to come together to help put this community back together. And it was during this time that I actually made some of the best friends of my life. I remember we felt like family, and just living there, I got to bond with the children of the village, the families of the village. I got to learn how to grow bananas and eat lots of beans and rice, and we rebuilt baseball fields, we rebuilt homes. I slept on the floor of an abandoned school home, and we began to put together this beautiful town. I learned how to salsa, merengue, and dance, and it was just the time of my life. I can't begin to tell you how many good memories I have from this trip. But the one that I walked away with that has probably affected me the most today was how I stopped eating meat. And it's actually kind of funny because I remember within just the first week of me arriving to Bauruco, I remember there were tons of farm animals everywhere, all over this little town. There were stray dogs, stray pigs, stray goats, and even stray little chickens that would be running around all over the place. And I remember when I first got there, I actually found this cute set of little chicks that I took to. I felt like their mother hen. And I remember I played with them all the time and I raised them. And you don't really ever think about eating an animal as you're having fun raising it, because you learn to love the animal just like loving a dog or a cat. You learn to love it as you raise it. And as months had gone by, I remember these chickens had grown very big, and I loved them. So when you're young and you've been exposed to many different types of products in a grocery store, everything comes in a package. And so my first time living in this type of a community, I didn't really understand that if you were going to eat meat or eat other animals, you had to kill them yourself if you wanted to consume them. And I had never really been in charge of that before. I kept myself busy with the educational side of volunteering and being in the baseball fields and being on the beach and rebuilding the schools and being with the children. But the day came around that it was time for me to learn how to kill my own food to eat it, and it was for the group, it was for the family. And I'll never forget this experience because when it came my turn to make dinner for everyone or to make the meal for everyone, I was completely shocked when they told me that I had to kill the chickens to be able to prepare them with the beans and the rice and the tomato sauce. And I'll never forget this moment in my life because I cried hysterically maybe for about an hour when they told me that I had to kill my chickens. And I didn't want to do this. And I couldn't get myself to do it. And I remember standing around that day as literally some of my friends slit the throats of some of these chickens. They plucked their feathers, they de-skinned them, they took out their guts, they separated the chicken parts, and they cooked them in a pot, in a bowl on top of a fire in the middle of this village. And I remember feeling so traumatized by this event that I could no longer look at any of the chickens for a very long time. And I didn't eat chicken or any type of meat after that for at least a year. And I will tell you that it's a very difficult experience to watch an animal be killed that way because chickens, and particularly when you slice their throat, they actually do run around for about 10 minutes with their head cut off until all of their nerves calm down in their body and until they pass away. It's not an easy thing to watch. I didn't enjoy it whatsoever. It was this experience that opened up my eyes to not eating animals and to only eating things like beans and rice and plantains and the things that they harvested in that village that I could eat that weren't animals. And I remember feeling so much better at that point. When you first stop eating meat, your awareness and your consciousness for this type of thing grows. And I like to tell people now that if everybody on this planet had to kill and eat their own food, we would have far more people being vegetarian or vegan or eating less animal products because it is somewhat of a gruesome experience. And it's not always done with kindness or with love towards the animals. For the next year, I didn't consume any animal products, and my consciousness just for not eating animals grew. Making animals our friends and not our food, and being very conscious of what I was eating. And I have to tell you that I was young at the time. I was 15, I was 16. I wasn't really concerned about health. And so for me, it was more about the gruesome experience of killing an animal that affected me. And after this entire experience had passed, after I had gone back to the United States, I remember it had been maybe about a year and a half after that. And I remember being in the grocery store. And I remember thinking, wow, they make everything look so harmless. You know, the chicken is packaged so nicely, wrapped in the plastic. There's no blood on it, and they make it look like happy, grass-fed animal protein, right? And it looks so easy. All you have to do is take it home, unwrap it, put it on a stove. You never got to meet the animal. You never had to kill it. You never had to see the slaughtering. You never got to see the blood. All of that was taken away from you, all for the easy convenience of you having it in a package and being able to consume it and get exactly what you need from it. And because I felt so much pressure from family and friends and people saying that I wasn't getting enough protein, and also because I was only maybe 17, 16 years old, I started eating meat again. And I didn't really feel that much of a difference in my body, except for maybe perhaps I did notice a little bit more of a feeling of depression. And I didn't really like the taste of meat. It needed a lot of salts and condiments and things to put on it to make it taste good. So I did go back to eating meat, but it had nothing to do with health and it had nothing to do with animals. It had more to do with societal pressure and the fact that I had been gone from the Dominican Republic for a few years and I'd forgotten what the experience was like to have to kill for your own food. And it wasn't until I went raw again for my health after getting hyperglycemia that I gave up meat again. And I rediscovered how good it feels to just eat plants and to eat a plant-based diet. And you feel amazing and you feel filled with life because you don't have to eat another life to fuel your own. I know that it's very difficult for many people to give up meat because they don't have the type of experience where they have to grow or raise or kill their own food. Everything in a grocery store is very beautifully packaged and put together, and it makes the experience of consuming animals unthinkable. There are infinite reasons of why people take on a vegetarian or a vegan or a plant-based or even a fully raw lifestyle. And whatever the reason is, it's beautiful because it brings you towards living a more compassionate, empathetic, loving, healthy, sustainable life, not just for you, but for everyone around you. And I'm so blessed to have had this experience because it helped to shift my life at an early age so that I was enlightened later on. And I know that this was the original reason of why I became vegetarian, of having to raise my own chickens and watch them being killed and live in the Dominican Republic. But this wasn't the only reason that kept me vegetarian. I did go back to eating meat because I was consumed with what society was doing. I went back to not eating animal products because of my health and because of the way it made me feel, and because it helped me to heal my hyperglycemia, get rid of migraines, make my skin better, my energy better, sleep better, run better, whatever it is. Eating more fruits and vegetables, even if you don't want to go fully raw, is one of the best things that you can do for yourself. So if I can encourage you to eat one fully raw meal a day or to take animal products, take meat or dairy out of your diet, I promise that it will benefit you infinitely. Maybe perhaps you can give it a try. All right, you guys, that's my story on how I became a vegetarian, and I hope that you've enjoyed this personal story from my past. If you guys have liked this video, if you've appreciated it, and if you want to share it with your family and friends to encourage them to have one meatless meal a day, please give this video a thumbs up. If you guys want more tips, tricks, stories, or inspiration on how to go fully raw or simply how to get healthier, please subscribe here to FullyRawKristina as we have fun building community and family together. If you guys want to follow me daily, you can also find me on Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, and Twitter, all at FullyRawKristina. All right, you guys, I am gonna go and enjoy the rest of this beautiful day and appreciate all of the creatures and all of the beauty on this planet, and I hope that you get to go and do the same. Sending you all my warmest hugs and my love. Bye. The next thing I should talk about is why people shouldn't eat a lot of rice and beans. I ate way too many rice and beans while I was there. Nobody liked me. Poop, poop. My favorite part about living in the Dominican Republic was the ocean. Waking up every morning and going and jumping in the ocean. And there were all these rocks, and I just remember feeling like I loved jumping in, and there was this huge, like 30 steep drop, and it made all these waves come in, and some of the kids would surf or bungee board or whatever, but I just remember loving being taken over by the undercurrent and feeling like I had no control over my body and then being washed ashore. It was just the best feeling ever.